Please take a comfortable seat. Settle into your posture. This practice is about creating some resistance. You know, the Buddha talked a lot about desires. We hear when we read about Nisargadatta, Ramana, they talk about desires. So when you sit still, you're taking a stance on what comes up internally. Now, some things, they just happen, right? We just all of a sudden, we don't even realize that we're acting in the world. But other things, they come up and then we're not sure. It feels like the desires are almost in conflict. And then we could, what do I decide to do? Well, when you sit in meditation, you've already made all the decisions. You're going to sit there. No matter what, you're going to sit there. Unless you're really uncomfortable, then you adjust yourself. So what happens is you create a stance so that when desires rise up, you can investigate them. And this creates pressure. This is why this meditation, this sitting practice, 45 minutes, 50 minutes we sit for, is intimidating to a lot of people. They just can't do it. The impulse to act on their desire, or really to avoid feeling their desire, is too strong. They fidget, they squirm, they get frustrated, because that avenue from desire to action and trying to avoid certain desires that are in conflict is too great for this type of practice. They need something earlier to work on first. But when we sit here right now, close your eyes, whatever, soften your gaze, become still. And you can bring your faithful companion, like your breath, or your counting, or an inquiry. But when you get those pressure buildups, this is actually a great opportunity. This is a boon for your practice. People think, that pressure, that frustration, that inability to focus and be still, I'm not progressing in my meditation, is actually the opposite. These moments can become the catalysts for true deepening. And so it's actually most advanced to not take on a practice, a breath count, a question, a mantra, but to remain present for that pressure that builds up as the desires rise into the conscious mind. And to there come into an understanding. This is not my desire. This is energy rising up in consciousness. This helps us traverse the great expanse from being a tiny little individual jiva into the absolute pure awareness, the desireless pure awareness. Individual jiva, lots of desires. And you are endeavoring to cross that threshold. It's okay to use some aids, breath counting, the guided prompts, focusing exercises to help. But at some point, the great ocean of the desires has to be crossed into the place where you realize you are the desireless, empty, natural awareness beyond it, behind it. And only you can do this. You can be reminded, you can remind yourself, but even reminding yourself doesn't matter. It happens to me all the time. I put the letter that I have to mail. Yes, I still mail letters right at the front of the door. I remind myself. I put the bag I need to take, the garbage, I put it right next to the door. I still walk out the door, even though I reminded myself. I still walk right past it. This is like a lot of your meditations, I know. You're you're reminding yourself you're beyond your thoughts, yet whoop, right back in your thoughts, right out the door, left the letter right where you remembered to put it. But now it's garbage day. Now it's important. You got to get that garbage out the front door, or else it's going to have to sit in there for a whole nother week because the bears are going to get it if you don't get it in the garbage can. And so it's important. You got to get the garbage bag out of the house. You got to get the letter mailed. The due date on the bill is going to be past due if you don't get it mailed today. And so now you try to remember as hard as you can, but now because it matters, you remember to take the letter. You remember to take out the garbage. You see, this is the pressure you're trying to build for yourself. You're trying to facilitate for yourself. This work needs to be important. Oh, I got a couple weeks before that bill is due. Garbage man's not coming today. It's okay if I just walk right past the garbage man and forget. And Zen, they said, meditate like your hair was on fire. Meditate like it's garbage day. You feel the desires rise up. Hopefully, in there should be a desire for the liberation. In that desire, the liberation from your thoughts, from yourself. This is the due date on the bill. This is the garbage truck coming up the road. You feel the pressure to remember. You add that pressure by choosing to be still, choosing to not engage in the impulse for your practice period of time. How do you handle that pressure? Gently, carefully. It is serving you. And some of us, we can actually sit fairly comfortably physically, but is the mind comfortable? Still having to listen to yourself, talk to yourself. Hmm. No one else to listen to you. Nothing entertaining to listen to but the words inside your head. This is the pressure. These thoughts are motivated by desires and fears, cravings and aversions. You gently, gently listen, gently cradle whatever arises in your mind. It's strange to take that stance, holding something gently. It's like it's hot. It's a hot ball of iron. It's a prickly cactus. The pressure, the buildup, as you resist the impulse to act. Sit and endure whatever arises in consciousness. Don't even bother today trying to be more aware, trying to be more present. You can't be. You're already aware. You're already present. You're already here. A stupor, the tamas, the stupor just enters the consciousness. And so you think you're forgetting. You think you're wandered off, but you haven't. You just, stupor is in the consciousness. And then rigor. Oh, I was stupor. I was lost in dream and thought. Now I focus, focus, focus. Very short lived focus. That's rajas. Don't even bother today. Just empty sitting. Let that pressure build up. Wait out the storm. What am I supposed to do? What should I focus on? Mm-mm. This is the pressure we want to cultivate. Just endure. Don't even bother trying to stop them. The thoughts, motivated by desires and fears. Don't even bother. Just be this empty, shining witness of light. And the picture show is happening on the screen. The stories, the words, and the emotions that naturally arise. Just endure. Let some of that pressure build up. Let that pressure push you beyond concern. Beyond concern, no need to act. Only the true desires will remain. Continue. You see, it's not an instruction, but a statement of fact. You just continue. This doesn't stop. It doesn't end. The desires and the fears are rising and falling. The pressure to resist them, succumb to them, act on them is coming and going. It builds and dissipates. But you, there is something unaffected, undisturbed, unintruded upon by that pressure. And it is the pressure itself that acts as the catalyst. The realization, I can't solve the problem. I can't relieve the pressure. I don't have to. You see, the perpetuation of thought is thinking you can do something about the desires and fears. I can just move. I could just turn off the meditation. These are only temporary patches. You have still caught the bug. And that's a fine path to choose, but they still continue. Be stillness. Don't move the body. And as you feel the inner energies, thoughts, emotions created by desires and fears, endure. Like an inner itch with nothing to scratch. You'll find yourself on the other side of things. I saw a bear the other day, and at first we were very interesting to each other because we caught each other off guard. Am I dangerous? Is she dangerous? We both wondered that. We were invested in each other. Then she realized, and I realized, we don't want anything to do with each other. And so we moved on. Let those desires and fears move on. Lose interest. I didn't try to shoo the bear away. That probably wouldn't have worked out well. I didn't run away from the bear. I just endured. There was pressure, let me tell you. And then we realized we weren't interested in each other. Those thoughts that give you so much trouble, the emotions, it's like confronting a bear by accident. No need to provoke the bear. No need to run away. Be of no use to those problems. Your brain power is not available to solve them. And the problems will move on. And you can continue to exist. Just exist. continue to exist. Endure the storm until you discover what a blue sky really is. Leave the body right where it is. Leave the eyes right where they are. Leave the ears right where they are. Let your organs do their work without your intervention, even breathing. Let the mind think if it wants to. Leave things be. Leave things exist as they are. Your wants and cravings, let them do their dance. Exist beyond the things that have been labeled. Exist beyond definition. Resist the pressure to participate. This is how you find out what truly matters. Relax your body. You can sign up from the call now. Otherwise, I'll pause the recording and we'll do questions.